Hello everybody, it's Dispeller here. We are going to be reading chapter 13 in the Dealing with People You Can't Stand book. Yesterday we did chapter 12, the know-it-all. Today we're doing the think they know it all. So, as I always say, if you have things you want to share, you want to give input into the chat. Looks like I'm freezing here. What the heck? Computer just froze. Okay, let's try again. Hello, 3 people. I guess I froze there for a minute. I don't know. My computer's been acting up lately.
You didn't freeze.
I didn't? Internet froze?
Your computer froze, but it still showed you on the actual screen moving.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so we're going to be doing the Think They Know It All today. I am going to say one thing. I just got back from Chubbs' live stream, and I'm sure most of you know that I was there and that I was talking. I am not going to promise anybody that I'm not going to hang out with anybody else, because there are so many sides anymore on YouTube of I like this person, but they don't like that person, and that person doesn't like that person, but they like these people. I couldn't do it. That'd be too confusing to figure out who I'm supposed to be friends and enemies with anymore. So I'm just going to treat y'all like acquaintances, and if you're my friend, I probably talked you already off YouTube. So that's where it's going to stay with me. So if you want to, be like that and say, well, I can't talk to Dispeller because I saw her talking with other people that don't like these people, and I like those people. I don't have time for that. My brain can't balance all that stuff. So I'm just going to have acquaintances and friends offline, and that will be where that is at. Solves my problem entirely. Okay, so the Think They Know It All. Tony was a fun-loving kind of guy. He laughed at his own jokes, even if no one else did. Wherever there was a party, Tony found it, whether he was invited or not. And whenever someone received an award, there was Tony claiming it was because of his ideas or suggestions. To hear Tony tell it, he was the man with a plan, the one in the know, and all you had to do was ask. But in fact, Tony didn't wait until he was asked. Instead, he volunteered and interfered, and he drove everyone around him insane, particularly Sally. For her, his overbearing manner was unbearable. She despised his lies, and she rejected his foolish opinions. Time and again, she tried to confront him with his generalizations, distortions, and deletions. Unfortunately, Tony's defenses would go up. He'd dig in his heels, and he'd argue for all he was worth. And the most frustrating part was that others, who didn't know better, would believe him. After each confrontation, Sally would think to herself, what is his problem? Why does he have to act like that? Okay, hang on. I'm switching rooms because I have a teddy bear trying to climb my leg with sharp razor claws, and I'm not enjoying it. So I'm going to come in here where there's no cats to bother me so I can read and share with you and hopefully have a nice live stream, because after that, we're going to try to get mats out of Bobo's fur. He's got a few little ones that we want to get out of there. So hold on a minute. Just getting situated. Bam. I know, KCL, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so like other people who become think they know it alls, Tony's abrasive behavior results from his desire to get appreciation. When he feels slighted in any way, he's likely to up the stakes and try harder than ever to attract some attention in his direction. Think they know it alls are assertive in their behavior, pushing their way into conversations where they may not be wanted. They have a strong people focus because people are the source of the attention and appreciation they crave. Think they know it alls do have at least one unique ability. They know how to learn just enough about a subject to sound conversant in it. They also have a particularly bad habit. They're addicted to exaggeration as an attention-getting device. Though you would think they'd know that's exactly how it sounds, they certainly don't think of themselves as liars. They believe what they say, even if they're hearing it for the first time. The more defensive they get, the more they have to repeat themselves. Each time they hear the words that left their mouths come back in through both their ears, they think other people are agreeing with them. In this way, they're able to rapidly build up a consensus of opinion, even though it exists only in their own minds. At first, this misinformation can be fun to listen to, and even funny. In times of crisis or change, it becomes annoying at best and dangerous at its worst. After a while, people quit listening. In desperation, think they know-it-alls may try even harder to get attention, and this leads to greater isolation and disapproval. Hi, Albie. Pretty soon, think they know-it-alls get nothing from everyone, no attention, no respect, and no encouragement. In fact, people will actually begin to say, don't encourage them. The end result is that even their best efforts and good ideas tend to get dismissed or overlooked. Unfortunately, this causes them to need attention even more, so the think they know-it-all behavior increases. So I'm going to show you the little chart of where the think they know-it-alls are. They're right down here, right there on the attention-seeking area of our little chart here. You'd better adjust your attitude. If you have a low tolerance for people who exaggerate to the point of lying or who traffic in misinformation, there's probably nothing you'd like better than to burst their bubble. But be warned, when you challenge or confront them aggressively, their only way out is to counterattack with grander claims and louder persuasions. Their conviction can sway other people who don't know any better. This, in turn, can lead to disastrous consequences as think they know-it-alls lead people down illusory paths. Don't be too quick to judge, thinking that you are above this kind of behavior. Haven't you ever defended an idea that you hadn't thought through and didn't necessarily believe in? Maybe you read something somewhere, believed it was true, presented it as if you knew something about it, and found yourself faced with someone more knowledgeable than you, and you just wanted to save face. Have you ever found yourself justifying something you said that you wish you hadn't said at all? Or have you ever exaggerated about something just a little? Whenever you acted like you knew what you were talking about, but you were actually uncertain or didn't have a clue, you too were being a think they know-it-all. Interesting. Hi, Super Cereal. So no matter how far they stretch the truth, don't give in to the temptation to stretch it in the other direction. If you do, you will lose your credibility, and people will think the same things about you that you think about your think they know-it-all. You must restrain the urge to show think they know-it-alls up, and instead see their interruptions as minor annoyances to be handled before you can move on. In fact, we recommend using a go beyond attitude. Think, 100 years from now, what difference will they make? Yeah, that's what I used to tell my kids all the time, too. Losing face, appearing the fool, or being labeled a liar is an insecurity shared by many people. When you were growing up, chances are your parents compared you to other children unfavorably on occasion. Or you may have had the humiliating experience of being picked last in the schoolyard for team play in a given year. We suggest you see the frightened and insecure children within think they know-it-alls and have some compassion for these people who must struggle so hard for attention. Compassion is one of the attitudes that enhances your ability to deal with them effectively. Life is tough for think they know-it-alls because they think that they have to maintain a show and they hide the insecurity they're always feeling. Compassion helps you to give them a face-saving way out instead of wanting to punish them with humiliation. Another resource that you will need is patience. Sometimes think they know-it-alls run off at the mouth, holding their audience in rapt attention, and you may have to wait for the right moment before moving things in a different direction. Timing can be important, and good timing requires patience. Please, anybody that's new, that's tuning in, like right now or any other time in the game here, please hit the subscribe button. If this topic and other things that I have on my channel interest you, like and share. Hit the little button to give it a like, the little thumb up, and also hit the bell so you don't miss future uploads. Thank you. Your goal, give their bad ideas the hook. Your goal is to catch them in their act and give their bad ideas the proverbial hook. Just as bad acts were removed from the stage in vaudeville days, only in these cases you'll want to do so without putting think they know-it-alls on the defensive. Hey, Mommy Mars. Action plan. Number 1, give them a little attention. There are 2 ways to give a minimum amount of attention to think they know-it-alls. Backtrack to their comments with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is to the think they know-it-alls what the spotlight is to entertainers. Backtracking the remarks of these people enthusiastically is a surefire signal that you're paying attention to them, while at the same time putting them on the receiving end of their own foolishness. Acknowledge positive intent rather than wasting your time with their content. For example, you're at a meeting and a think-they-know-it-all starts making ridiculous suggestions and offering useless or regressive information. To acknowledge intent, you can say, "Thanks for wanting to contribute to this discussion." Notice that you don't have to agree with the content of their communication. Instead, you acknowledge them for the positive intent that you project into their remarks. It's highly unlikely that a think-they-know-it-all is going to make an honest confession at this point. "Oh no, that's not what I am trying to do at all. I'm a loudmouth braggart who just likes attention." They're not going to say that, in other words. In fact, the positive projection may be enough to end the negative distraction because you're giving them exactly what they want, attention. With the intent satisfied, they may be able to drop back and let others have a moment in the limelight of the discussion. I need to tell you again, if you are dealing with a narcissist or somebody that has some really bad personality disorder problems, some of this stuff is not going to work. So don't be surprised if you take these techniques and you implement them and it bites you right in the tail end, because some of this is not going to work with everybody. But take the meat, spit the bones, take what you can use, and let us know how that works for you, because I would love to hear some people that implemented any of these ideas, and especially if it worked for you. But let me know. Either way, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, or leave me a comment in email if you want at DelusionDispeller@gmail.com. Now, that's still my email, even though it's not my name anymore. Clarify for specifics. Number 2. If you are certain that they don't know what they're talking about, and you do know what you're talking about, then this ought to be easy for you. Ask them some revealing clarification questions for specifics. Since think-they-know-it-alls speak in huge generalizations, you'll want to question the use of universal words like everybody with who specifically, and always with when specifically, and significant with significant in what way specifically. Warning, be extremely careful with your nonverbals. Asking clarification questions of think-they-know-it-alls can back them into a corner. They may not be able to provide specifics if they never even really had any to begin with. And cornered think-they-know-it-alls can defend by becoming more defensive. So when you ask your questions, look innocent or curious, and resist the temptation to thoroughly embarrass them. Remember that humiliation never works as a long-term strategy. Step 3, tell it like it is. Now is a good time to redirect the conversation back to reality. You can tell it like it is from your point of view, and if you remember to use I language, you'll be able to keep your remarks as non-threatening as possible. Preface your facts with the way I heard it, what I've read, I've seen, and so on. To add irrefutable evidence to your spoken word, you can document your information and show it to them as you speak. Even think-they-know-it-alls know that you can't fight printed facts, and they won't try. This is a great time to quote journals, articles, and the like. Again, narcissists, whether you give them printed facts or not, will fight you on them. Know-it-all or think-they-know-it-alls may not, but a narcissistic one will. They'll sit there and tell you, "Oh, well, you added stuff to that. That's not what was said," or "You don't remember how it really happened," or they'll deflect and say, "Well, what about the time when you blah, blah, blah?" So just remember, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing with this book. You've got to judge your situation that you're in and decide if this stuff works or not for you. Step 4, give them a break. At this point, think-they-know-it-alls are at a moment of truth. It has become obvious that you know what you're talking about and they don't. Resist the temptation to embarrass them. Instead, make them allies by giving them a way out and again minimizing the chance of putting them on the defensive. For example, if you just mentioned an article or showed them a supporting document, you can say, "But maybe you haven't read that article yet." Another escape you can utilize to great effect is at this stage of the game, Junko Logic. Discovered in the 1950s, Junko Logic is an advertising principle that says you can give someone any 2 unrelated ideas and act like they're related, and people on the receiving end of the combined message will make up a connection. Turn on the TV, open a magazine, and look at a billboard, and chances are you'll be seeing an image that has nothing to do with the product. We suggest you take the think-they-know-it-alls ideas, Hook them together with your information and then act like they're somehow related. This will confuse think they know-it-alls and send them on a derivational search for meaning from which they may never return, or it will at least keep them occupied long enough to get a meeting back on track. Here's an example. I'm glad they're giving an example because I have no idea what that even means. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. It really does a great job of highlighting blank. Then change the subject back to the facts. This can confuse the think they know it all just long enough to throw him or her off track while allowing you to refocus the discussion and get it back on track. Another way you can use Junko Logic to give think they know it alls an out is to act as if their distortions have reminded you of the facts and tell them you appreciate them for their efforts. Thanks for bringing up that subject. You really jogged my memory of those articles. Think they know it alls wouldn't think of denying any appreciation that comes their way. While they stop to appreciate the appreciation, you just keep going. The key to all of this is the realization that think they know-it-alls are not as attached to their ideas as know-it-alls. If you give them a way to go along with you, chances are they'll jump on your bandwagon. This strategy has long-range ramifications too. If they constantly see that you know what you're talking about, they'll be less inclined to challenge you with others present. In fact, they may try to become your pal because the next best thing to being a winner is to be seen with one. That's where the next step comes in handy. Hey, Sue, how's it going? Step 5, break the cycle. By the way, I have had a lot of situations of people in my past hooking up with me because, as they say, it's all in who you know. It's usually people that are insecure in who they are and they admire me or look up to me for some odd reason that they try to connect with me. Because as they said, if you can't be a winner, you join a winner. And for some reason, they thought I was the one that was on the winning side, so they had to be close to me. Thank you, Grandma Ducky. I like your black cat. Okay, break the cycle. The long-range action step here is first to recognize the negative cycle caused by the think they know-it-alls behavior, and then work to break the cycle. Once these people are perceived as foolish and distracting know-nothings, they will try harder and harder. Then even their best efforts and good ideas tend to get dismissed out of hand or overlooked as flukes, and they don't get the attention they truly deserve. This could cause an unfortunate increase in the negative behavior. You can break this escalating cycle by doing 2 things. Use the gentle confrontation to tell them the truth about the consequences of their negative behavior, or actively look for and notice what these problem people are doing right, and give them credit where credit is due. For some people, this is all that's needed and the behavior subsides. For others, this educates them in how to properly get recognition, and it may stem the flood of foolishness and turn the tide into more productive channels. Now, if it's a narcissist who's trying to get attention, it's not going to matter what credit you give them, because if you say, hey, I really like the way you brought this up, it really sheds some light on such and such a topic, they'll be like, well, of course. I mean, you know that I know the most about that anyways. I mean, why wouldn't it? Of course it brought light on the topic. You danglings over here don't know what you're talking about. So it's going to backfire and bite you in the tail, like I said. It's not going to work with a narcissist. It's really not. With somebody that is insecure, like deeply insecure psychologically, and you tell them, hey, that's really great that you brought that up. It sheds some light on blah, blah, blah. They'll be like, I don't know. Do you really think so? Because, like, I didn't think it was really good. I thought it was a really bad idea. I don't even know why I brought it up. I shouldn't have said anything. And then, bam, it's the end of the world, and it's the next crisis that comes up, and you're just not going to do anything other than get them into a pity party state of mind, most likely. So it doesn't work with everybody. Okay. Great moments in difficult people history. By the way, that's kind of a self-deprecating thing when people do that. No matter what compliment you give them, they put themselves down so that you keep having to lift them up and lift them up and lift them up. That's self-deprecation. It's exhausting for the person on the receiving end. I'm sure it's exhausting for the self-deprecator too. But that type of person needs professional help that they're not going to find on social media, most likely. Unless they befriend somebody that's a true therapist and they take them under their wing and mentor them or something. But yeah, self-deprecators, they will just wear you out, and they wear themselves out. So this technique is not going to work for them. Okay, great moments in difficult people history. The almost $1 million fiasco. I'll show you this little picture again. I showed it to you the other day, I think. The guy with the little video camera, it's like he's been interviewed on some kind of TV show or something, I guess. I don't know. Sally was excited about, and at the same time dreading, the upcoming meeting to decide on a new computer system for the company. She was excited because she had put in extensive time into her research. She was certain about the value of purchasing the Bartlett by Pair computer. She was dreading the meeting because Tony was going to be there, and she knew he could foul things up if she wasn't careful. When the meeting finally happened, she began making her presentation, and things seemed to be going more smoothly than she could believe. But just as she got her hopes up, Tony butted in. Bartlett, we talking fruits and vegetables here or what? Haha. Listen, everybody, this decision is a no-brainer. You're looking at a bona fide computer expert. I've not only done undergraduate work in computers, but also overgraduate work, too. In fact, I've had my own personal computer for about 3 years now. Yep, there's only one way to go, and that's BMI. The whole world uses them, so that proves they must be great. There's so many choices of software and all kinds of virus protection programs, and that's important if you're going to be on the interweb. And anyway, if you want to be able to store your input, you have to get a computer that's BMI compatible and has lots of K. That is, if you want to play in the big leagues of business. It's the only way to go. Everybody knows it. Sally centered herself. She had mentally rehearsed for this moment, and the moment had arrived. Tony, she said, thanks for wanting us to get the right system for our people. Acknowledge positive intent. Playing in the big leagues of business is certainly the way to go. Backtrack with enthusiasm. Then she innocently asked, say, do you happen to recall how many K the BMI has? Backtrack, then clarify for specifics. Well, it is a special K. When Tony tried to passing it off like this, she simply asked another question. Are you aware of the networking and file transfer capabilities between Bartlett and BMI computers? Clarify for specifics. He didn't have a good answer for that either. In fact, the answer was so garbled, no one knew quite what he had said as his voice trailed off. Having reduced Tony's roar to a squeak, Sally then fell back on documentation. Well, in the latest issues of Pair User and Byte magazines, I found articles on how easy it is to transfer files with a Bartlett. And as I recall, use I language to minimize defensiveness, I read that there are over 200,000 viruses for BMIs, which is why there are so many virus programs. The Pair has had only 68 viruses in 30 years and none in the last 10. I read in another article, documentation, that according to tests run by an independent research firm, it takes a computer illiterate 1/10 of the time to be up and working productively on a Bartlett than it takes on any other system. But maybe you haven't had a chance to read those articles yet? Give him a break. His answer was a resounding, well, no, but I plan to. That Bartlett sounds like the way to go. I agree with you, smiled Sally. Okay, quick summary here. When people think they know it alls, your goal is to give their bad ideas the hook. So first, give them a little attention. Clarify for specifics. Tell it like it is. Give them a break. And break the cycle. I think an easy way of saying all this is save face. Help them save face. So don't put them down or anything, but kind of, in a way, gently corner them to prove that they don't know everything, even though they think they know everything, and stay on topic of whatever it is you're trying to convey is basically it. All right, y'all. So that was the think they know it alls. The next thing I will do, I won't do this tonight, because it's going to be a heavy hitter one. This is the grenade. We're coming up with that one next. You can see he's kind of exploding in the office and everybody's sort of running the other way because he's just exploding all over the place. So yeah, we'll talk about that one next time. And does anybody have any input or takeaways or anything you want to share? Oh, I'm sorry, Sue. That sounds awful. Yeah, prayers for everybody that is going through COVID or illness or any infirmities of any kind. It's miserable. It really is. Hopefully all of this garbage, all this sickness and stuff, is out of our systems before the summer and people can start healing with the heat of the summer. Because this winter coldness stuff is not helping. This kind of illness stuff incubates in the cold weather. So that's not good. Anyway. Anybody want to give any input? Anything you want to talk about, share, etc.? Do you know a know-it-all? How did you handle it? Do you think any of this is helpful? Will you implement it in your own life? You don't have to answer me now if you don't want, but I just thought I would leave the floor open for anybody that wants to have a chat of any kind. I do go back to work tomorrow, so when I do the next chapter will probably either be after work or even the next day. I don't know. It just depends how tired I am when I get home. So we'll see. Okay. Tough crowd. Thanks again, Grandma Ducky, for that $1.49 donation there. Yeah, I hope you feel better, Sue. I know about the difficulty breathing stuff. I still get short of breath, and it's been 3 months since COVID. So, yeah, it takes a while. The post-COVID syndrome, I think, is almost worse than most of COVID. The first 3 days were the absolute worst of COVID, but after that, it wasn't that bad. You just kind of get used to not being able to do a whole lot and flipping around like a fish out of water, making sure you can clear your lungs, trying to move a little bit at a time. But after that, even once you're back on your feet, you're short of breath a lot. You don't have a lot of energy. I don't know if y'all saw my Zumba today, my video I posted. That was it. That took enough out of me. I worked out for 30 minutes doing Zumba, and I was like, okay, I'm done. That's all I need. That's all I can do. That's all I need. Who is scratching at what here? Hold on a minute, guys. I think one of the kitties wants to come around the corner into the room here. And they can, because I have everything cleared out now. Who's knocking on my door? Is that the Bobo man? Hi, Bo. Hey, Bobo. Come here to the mommy. Come here to the mommy. Come here, baby. Come here, my Bobo man. He's my Bobo man. He's not wanting to stay with mommy, though, I don't think. Daddy's been holding him most of the day, and he's pretty restless. Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead. Go do what you gotta do. All right. Well, I guess I will head out then. You guys have a great night. If you've missed any of the other readings from this book here, Dealing with People You Can't Stand, I will try to post them in one of the corners as soon as I edit this video. Oh, not good, Mommy Mars. Not good at all. I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. So many people getting sick with different things lately. Like I said, I'm hoping this summer we can be done with all this crazy germ stuff for a while, and maybe permanently, but at least for a while, so we can have a few good months of just enjoying the sunshine and the heat, because that heat is going to get rid of all this nasty germ stuff, because it can't live very well in the high temperatures. So hopefully that'll give us a nice break that we all need. All right, you guys. So keep each other in prayer and good thoughts. And until we meet again, Dispeller, I will talk to you soon. Be blessed and shalom.